Episode 5 has been out for around a week now, and with it came the new Ascendant rank. This rank is placed between Diamond and Immortal, which in my opinion sorta makes it a new low Immortal. If you have good enough aim, you can make it to Ascendant, but to go all the way to Immortal and Radiant, that isn't enough on its own. I'm guessing that a lot of people are gonna end up stuck in this rank now, since Immortal was so crowded before. To make sure that you aren't gonna get stuck in Ascendant, I'm giving you 5 tips to help me get out of Ascendant quickly. The first thing I noticed with Ascendant players is that they're usually very solid mechanically, but they're lacking in the teamwork department. I played a few games with trolls and people who just didn't know how to play properly with their teammates. This is something that was relatively uncommon in Immortal, and especially high Immortal, so this new rank is probably gonna filter out all those people that can't teamwork and leave them stuck in Ascendant, while those who can will thrive and continue climbing. So you should definitely keep training your aim and all that good stuff, but incorporate more teamwork into the mix. Now of course, this is still ranked we're talking about, and you won't always find teammates willing to teamwork, but when you do, take advantage of that. And even if you have teammates that might not be the best, you can still play around them by trading them, comboing abilities and more. Teamwork can obviously get a lot more in depth than that, but you don't really need much more when it comes to ranked. So if you focus more on teamwork and improving that part of your game, that's definitely gonna give you an advantage. I mentioned earlier that Ascendant is the rank where I believe most people with good aim but not good enough game sense will get stuck. To avoid this, you wanna constantly improve on all parts of your game sense. You could argue teamwork is a part of your game sense, and really it's just a very broad term, but I classify game sense as stuff that has to do with your awareness in game, during clutches and overall game knowledge. This means that you really wanna try to find the optimal way to play each map for you, get better at clutching, rotating, etc. I believe what's gonna separate Ascendants from Immortals is gonna be how many mistakes you make. Everyone can pop off now and again, but having that consistency and making sure that after getting a few nice kills, you don't just push further and die is crucial. My favorite way to improve on this is by VOD reviewing. I have a full video on that, linked on the card above and in the description below, so check that out if you're interested in learning more about it. Like I mentioned in the tip before, definitely keep aim training, but putting a greater emphasis on improving your game sense instead of aim and mechanics is something that I believe is gonna be very beneficial as an Ascendant. My third tip is something that I believe is very underappreciated, and that's being able to keep calm and be positive even under pressure. I've noticed that in most games I lose, I happen to also have a very tilted or non-positive team, and the games I win, my team is usually nice and cooperative. This doesn't only matter in terms of teamwork like I mentioned before, but also more just keeping the overall team spirit and confidence of the team up. The more confident you are, the better you're generally gonna play. There's obviously an argument to be made that you can get overconfident as well, but if you improve on your game sense, then that won't really be a problem, since you'll know when you're playing too aggressively. Getting tilted doesn't only affect you, but it can also affect other teammates and eventually the whole team as well. The way I went from being toxic pretty often to very rarely getting tilted was to change my mindset from playing to win to playing to improve. I've mentioned this before in other videos as well, so I won't go that in depth, but I try to see every death and every loss as opportunities for improvement instead of the enemies just being lucky or your teammates being bad. Doing this will solve a lot of your problems with mindset and tilt. Tip 4 is all about your agent pool. When you get to Ascendant, this is really your time to pick 1 to 3 agents and put all your efforts towards them. Yes, you can technically be a flex player that fills whatever role is missing, but the truth is that you're never gonna get that good with one of those agents if you choose to go down that route. Instead, pick 1 or multiple agents depending on how flexible you wanna be, and learn everything you can about them. Where to play on each map, how to use your abilities on attack, defense, combined with other abilities, and more. There really are endless possibilities when it comes to improving your game on a specific agent, so I want you to think of it that way. Try to improve on something every single day you play VALORANT, and never get complacent. Keep finding new lineups, ways to entry, or improve your ability usage. Ascendant is really the time to niche down and focus on a certain playstyle to get really good at it. My next tip is about dropping your ego and learning how to play your role optimally so that your team benefits the most. The reason I'm mentioning this is because it's so common, even in the high ranks like Ascendant, to see people have no idea how their role is supposed to be played. Instead of flashing for the team, people only use them for themselves. Instead of trying to call stuns as breach, they just stun whenever they feel like it, and instead of entering as duelist, people going last. There are countless of examples that I could bring up. My point is that you shouldn't be afraid to do slightly worse yourself in order for the team as a whole to receive a greater benefit. Another thing about this topic to mention while I'm at it is to stop caring about stats. This goes hand in hand with dropping your ego, and I think they're both crucial things to do if you want to continue climbing and improving as a player. The only thing that should matter to you is the outcome of rounds and games. If you die one round without getting any kills, this doesn't necessarily mean that you did a bad job, so don't get mad over it. And the same thing goes if a teammate died without getting any kills. Your place should benefit the team as much as possible, which means that yes, while getting 3 kills in a round is usually great for the team and increases your chance to win, that's not always the case, and it's important to understand that so that you instead can focus on what you and your role is supposed to do and what you can contribute to the team. Using these tips, you should have no problem at all getting out of Ascendant. For more tips on how to rank up, check out the playlist on the screen right now. That's all I have for this video. See you next time.